His rebound swung it away. Bessar got a hand on it. It'll trigger the break for North Carolina coming in at 14. Bessar, yep, it's Wilson. He gets position and
This is big.
Wilson draws a lot of attention.
Striation?
What's that?
It's rips in the muscle.
Oh, all right.
This game.
Bessar, deep three. From the logo short. Wilson, an offensive rebound. Springy and one. Imes, too easy into the paint. Rebound deflected to Wilson. Full steam ahead. Caleb Wilson takes on the iron.
Great defensive play. Peterson, though.
Into their spots on the court as we look at North Carolina starting five. Derek Dixon, Jaden Young, Seth Trimble, Caleb Wilson, Henry Bessar as well, a guy that can stretch out the floor.
And up with a shot clock, not realizing where it was, and Carolina back the other way, trailing by 6. Wilson working on Waters. Hang time. Oh!
I mean, he comes off right there. He's wide open at the top.
Loose ball, and the Tar Heels steal it. That's what he's out there to do, is help space the floor and shoot.
I mean, he was wide open, and his eyes are facing you and I over here on the.
Here's Wilson. Operating against Onyensu. Scores it this game.
I don't know if Andy Enfield had a few anxious moments while that one was in the air. But
Final minute of regulation, knocked away by Wilson. And
they were getting turnovers, live ball turnovers, and playing in the open floor. They just haven't been able to get enough stops for that to be a consistent thing. Heads up.
Here's from Estonia, and here's Caleb Wilson, who is from
Fog Allen, after whom Allen Fieldhouse is named. And Fog Allen played for Dr. James Naismith, who invented the game.
That's his Cullen, Estonia. Shot clock winding down on the Spartans and a miss. Bessar has the rebound. He had 18 points and 15 rebounds, a career high in the win against Georgetown. Wilson! Blew by Wilson on the switch, and Jakari White is the 9th Virginia player to score. And then Wilson
with us earlier today, as opposed to saying, yeah, he's shooting well, sure. Here's Wilson.
How can Tech put together 2 or 3 possessions to get some stops? Otherwise, you're sharing buckets here at best.
Wilson the catch against Kraft. Fall away. It spins in.
So this isn't a very experienced team, but the way that they're putting their execution into play here in the second half shows that they're learning.
Play against Cam Morris, you have to stay on your feet. He loves 2 and 3 shot fakes at the end of his drive.
Wilson flies in the lane.
Quick, excellent pass by Stevens.
Evans, no good, but 1-19. They've stolen on the backdoor pass. Here's Wilson. Through traffic. Oh, my God.
Catch the basketball on the block, now navigating one-on-one, and has had success.
And it's stripped away from White. Wilson running the floor. Years in a row, that's every season he has been at the helm for Syracuse. And a loss tonight would leave them at 13-10 and 2 under 500 in league play. Bessar puts it to the deck, dumps it down for him. And Kyle looked at me and kind of smirked and said, "You'll see why."
You look at a kid like that as a coach, and you sit at the end of the bench. It crushes you that he has to be an assistant coach because of an injury, and he can't play. I mean, he's that talented.
Wilson at the reset of the shot clock.
Misses, and Wilson will collect. Trimble. Back for Wilson. Baseline, and Day-Day Ames with 12 on his 5th field goal.
Way more aggressive, not being unselfish like he was Wednesday night.
Wilson to catch deep on Camden, score on the clock. Bessar. Wilson.
He's a grown man. Yeah, he is a grown, playing against grown men. Dixon with a smooth feed down. We've seen some of the great comebacks.
Boy, Dame Sarr, his defense on the ball has been excellent.
Wilson, it'll go. Ernest into double figures now.
Look how they're getting number advantage at the rim. 2-on-1.
Wilson with the right hand.
FSU within one on the road at Chapel Hill. North Carolina for only the 5th time wearing home blue uniforms. Downstairs.
Baycott or Hansborough, they're not the physical enforcers those guys are.
Bessar, the offensive.
Dribbling from Smith. Gregory tried to shake his defender. Ball was deflected. Dixon. Young. Bogovac saves it. Directs a little traffic and loops it into Wilson. Everybody touches.
Genu Kim's first triple of the night, his 10th of the year.
3 in a row.
He's looked out of sorts a little.
13 points for Boopy Miller. And the lead swells to 7 for SMU.
SMU's at their best when they've got 5 guys in double figures.
That'll be goaltending.
North Carolina Central from nearby Durham. Here in Chapel Hill taking on the Tar Heels, and here comes Caleb Wilson. Up above the rim.
And that's really been the issue for Ed Cooley. They're trying to figure out who that 4th, 5th guy is going to be. They have pretty much strong production.
It's been to go.
Haven't been a lot of turnovers in this game. Let's take a look right there, 5 and 3.
It's not the MO of both teams. They're solid defensively, but they're not going to turn you over.
There's that Horns look with a cross screen with the 4 and 5 guy. Oh, what a look.
Will give and go there, and a miss. The foul on the back down. Nice move to his up a block from behind by Olway, but
Of course, educated and entertained at the same time.
Evans around and out for 3. There's Fessar. Wilson with This was the Stanford head coach at the time, and at 3 is way off from Donovan Young in North Carolina, the rebound. Michael Jordan fouled out of that game in just 7 minutes and had only 4 points.
And never fouled out since.
Go to the opponents to date.
Yeah, oftentimes in the NBA, with only 3 seconds on the shot clock.
You can make them play at a slower pace, Carolina. Yep. It is to your advantage. Nice pass.
Here in Chapel Hill tonight, both these teams were fighting the Doldrums early. Wilson not fighting anything.
An empty side.
14 for him.
Nobody helped. There are games circled on the
There's
calendar.
that spin out he lost.
Wow, is that close? Boy, he is a much improved player at the offensive end from a season ago.
Much more confident, but again, he's always going to go back to that left hand. But Badunga plays above the rim, and when he sets a ball screen, he gets out of it really quickly with his mobility.
Wilson knocks it.
Bump back. Even if he played great defense, he's got better offense.
Turnaround Wilson.
His first half. Bessar thought about it. Skip to the wing. Shot fake Bogovac. Dixon. Corner 2, Wilson.
Love that tipping. What a tremendous catch by Patrick Gungba.
Wilson with Boozer on him. They know each other well. Again, AAU teammates in the summer of 24.
Game standpoint, 3 ball out front. Parker on front rim miss. And Wilson on the run. Bogovac back for Caleb Wilson.
That's Bessar, both out there with Derek Dixon, Caleb Wilson, and Jonathan Powell.
Look at Bessar to try to get something. Caleb is in the middle of the court.
There's Powell. Trying to post up Wilson, who's been stuck at 10 points for a while.
Dixon. Bessar trying to have a double team. Whoa! Rebounds. Robinson over Wilson, who may have gotten a piece. Bogovac almost lost it. Wilson on the baseline. Nice pass. Schwieger can't finish. Bessar cleans it up. Dixon. Besar tried to dump it to Wilson. Catch, layup. Dixon right back at him. Couldn't finish. Wilson, another rebound.
Caleb Wilson got that steal, and Carolina got out in transition.
If you're Carolina, don't you have to get Henry Besar going somehow?
Yes.
A very quiet first half for a very good player having a big season for the Heels. Wilson drives and hits.
Besar going right to Wilson. Looking for another quick strike. He beats everyone to the ball. Backs it up.
Phone call was to Cameron Hunter. Hunter decided to leave and to go to Wisconsin, but Shulman told him, hey, listen.
McDowell elevates for a corner three. Weak side rebound by Evans.
You don't love that shot. I mean, again, Kansas doesn't get a piece of the paint at all. Just went around the perimeter, kind of settled for a challenge three in the corner.
Wilson, will he drive or try to back down White? Here he goes.
With all the layoff time for North Carolina, they were bound to be a little rusty.
Yeah, and again, they were playing so well before the 8-day break. I'm sure Hubert Davis didn't want to take that time
Off the slip, can't finish.
Message to his team is simple.
Defense, it's high-low. Marable, the 5, with the assist to Cole McCormick.
They run their stuff, Central Arkansas, they're Princeton, with really good pace.
Entry pass and Wilson.
As has Powell.
Especially the early part of this second half really gave them a lift offensively.
Wilson wants three.
And this is basketball. Yep. Little soft pick with the right hand. Evans. Looking for Wilson. The catch and flush.
We're near that kind of offensive production.
But it goes back to what Luke Louch told us earlier. Hey, if the other guys beat us, we're just going to lose. We just can't allow it to be Caleb Wilson and Besar as Wilson continues.
With Caleb Wilson a little bit touching him. Like, why is he touching me?
They're trying to get it to Wilson, and here's the catch. Oh, my. Wilson into traffic.
Stanford tonight. Caleb Wilson. How about that? Chapel Hill. Besar swats that one away. Triggers to Wilson on the spin. Waits and on here talking about how good the front court has been. The line driver won't fall. Powell coming off the bench. A battle for a rebound.
67. He attempted 30 free throws in that game and made 24 of them. Just one attempt so far.
Carolina.
Tar Heels have been workmanlike here in the second half. 3D, because really there's no margin advantage here in the second half.
Henderson is impressive. He's increased his acceleration here by 8%.
Look at you.
Whoa! Lefty finish by Corey Carvey.
He's a good player, Carvey. He's really skilled, really good size and length, good feel for the game.
6 points, 3 rebounds. He comes in averaging 16 points.
Central away. And I think Central's done a nice job, Doug, of taking the air out of the basketball.
Bogovats. Lob. Stevenson to Wilson. The pull-up from 7.
Evans. Bogovats. Wilson. Back to
around. Besar had it for a moment. Picked up by Kaysen. Stolen away by Caleb Wilson, and here he comes.
Tony Bennett retired before last year, but recommitted to Ryan Odom. And boy, where would they be without Chance Mallory?
Will Memphis' terrific pass. Powell can't cash in. Wilson, the offensive rebound. Wilson shakes his man and gets it.
Wilson right back at it. Inside, he gets it.
Can't hit it. Bogovats in transition. Can't fit.
Eight to shoot. Dixon a 3. Back rim miss. Wilson in the lane. Lost it, and they scramble inside. Caleb somehow came to stop. Pushed it up, and it rattled off. A minute to go. Here's the outlet for Wilson. Caleb.
Oscar Hielte underneath. And challenged by Besar. Blocks the shot, and Carolina comes away with it. Cameron Grant Off the bench for Kyle Smith and Stanford. Here is Wilson.
PNU, Brumbaugh, the preseason player of the year in the American.
Coach Ron Hunter, obviously terrific down there in New Orleans.
Wilson to the rim.
Henderson drives it in. Second field goal for Sheldon Henderson.
Good recognition by Donaldson.
Well, Wes, you know I'm getting ready to say that's a mouse in the house when you did guarding Henderson.
Yep. There goes Bogavats.
Oh, good pass.
Wilson up strong, and here Vesar regains possession. Wilson will try to back down Mack with 8 inches of height, and
I believe he will.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
as per the story we relayed in the first half, Hubert Davis likes his team's offense, but talked about defense, rebounding.
3 spins out for Okori and pulled down by the Tar Heels.
Watch Caleb Wilson on the early post up.
They get it to him.
Again, they just let him catch too easy.
Wilson.
And that's what conversation happening. We're doing pretty well. Also, worth mentioning, phenomenal flat tops by those two in the bottom right hand.
Think of the time, late 50s, early 60s.
Chance opportunity, and that is Notre Dame's second chance bucket of the game. Into Wilson. Too late.
Get Wilson or Vesar in foul trouble because the depth is not great for North Carolina on the front line.
How about this, Corey? Wilson hasn't taken a shot yet against Devin Tillis. Wilson
on the drive, slicing in, and Caleb Wilson.
Stevenson for Wilson. Crowd's holding their breath now. Fall away. Yes, sir.
There it is down that corner.
Oh, blocked by Wilson.
They play by Wilson defensively there. Took away the driving angle of away.
Wilson to the other end, off the bump. But
Johnson.
Young with a strip and steal. Ahead to Dixon against Hall. Dixon, Wilson, slam. Bogavant still scoreless. 9 strike scored pass. Wilson. Shot clock ticks down to 5. Wilson does such a good job.
Able to finish. Tybo Bailey's in his head a little bit. You get an open shot, just take it. Don't rush. Uh-oh.
Trimble gives it back.
Here's Wilson, who's got 18, 13 rebounds for North Carolina. 10 on the shot clock. Wilson for 3.
Coach when Shulman was at D2 Alabama, Huntsville.
Guarding Caleb Wilson, he's going to try to be as physical as possible with him.
One of the nation's best defensive players, Brown. Second year with Duke after a couple of years at Syracuse. Tough shot in the court.
Wilson in traffic. Got it back. Back up and in.
Scoring 23.3 points per game. This is Kyan Evans, the transfer from Colorado State, who was the starter until a couple of weeks ago, now coming off the bench. Oh, look at that move by Wilson. Bogavats. Layup. Really high on Jaron Stevenson. We asked him, is there a guy, not named Wilson who... Henderson. Around Wilson. Up and under. Stripped out of there by Caleb Wilson, and here he goes. Wilson leads the charge. Crosses over into traffic. Put it up. And
Derek Dixon on the floor for the first time for North Carolina. Feeds Wilson from the elbow.
Yep. Georgia Tech cut it back to 18, and here's the inbounds pass. Wilson the catch. He's got Mustaf to beat, and the dunk. But Nini through traffic, couldn't finish it. Best side of the rebound. Now Stevenson. Wilson.
There you go. Just sniff a little bit. Nice footwork. How about that?
Pass deflected, trying to force it to Buko Okori. Carolina running with Wilson. Any
teams and conferences, and then oftentimes teams improve once league play starts. 12-point lead, Trumbull. Now Jaden Young back on the floor. Here's Wilson against Kraft. Nice one. After clearing it for him. Ball away, got it. For Wilson.
Oh, good move.
Caleb.
A three. Wilson grabs it. And for that miss from Powell.
Trimble.
Through a lot of traffic.
And the final on two. Luka to the rack. And Wilson follows.
Kyan Evans turns the corner. The lob. The finish by Wilson.
Evans throws it out.
Heels have done it with defense. The transition is going. Wilson with one.
Basar down the lane, flips it up. No, and it's Wilson.
Here's Kyan Evans. Watched by Carr. Wilson. Going to work. What a move. What a
Jonathan Powell has also come in, number 11 in white. Wilson off the head.
Then off the Dongo screen. And jump shot it, rebounded by Evans. He'll lob it. Oh!
Part of his repertoire. Goodness, he's a tough out now. Devin Mobley is stepping up his game. It's the biggest game of the year so far for Ohio State. He's shown up. 16 ways this year.
Wilson trying to shake free. Off the window, got it.
See one go through early.
Georgetown starting five featuring Laifanua, who's rejected by Vessar. Warriors have a couple of great guards, Malik Mack and Lewis, preseason All Big East. Caleb Williams, Isaiah Abraham.
God bless you. Wilson in some traffic, one arms it, and got it back. And then
Speedy Tyler Smith, the basket, and the Spartans refuse to go away. Wilson on the cut.
Two. And Trumbull with 2 fouls couldn't do much about that. Was unable to show much resistance.
Wilson, no resistance.
Into the mid-80s and into the 90s scoring-wise, and then Stanford wants to slow them down, take away their transition, make this a half-court game as best as possible.
Here is Caleb Wilson on a step back in the game.
Notice, Jay, this ETSU defense, one of the best in their league. They're long, they're athletic, and they're active.
Play yet. The combination of Henry Basar and also Caleb Wilson, how they've been able to work together and gel so early in the season.
Oh, Wilson free.
Last couple of years. And the long three won't go for Kyan Evans. Back into the zone, trying to see if they can protect their guys in foul trouble. But the problem with the zone, it opens up opportunities on the offensive glass where North Carolina is so strong. Wilson. Back rim miss. Stevenson the rebound. Quick outlet. Here's Wilson. Around Calmes.
Finding that spot, catching and shooting.
Bolden offline. The rebound by Vessar. Evans, another guy who can shoot at the lob instead.
Job. Tough gamble pass here.
Thornton in some traffic. Had it blocked. That's Stevenson.
Well, they got numbers right now. Hold on.
Little foot back inside 10. Gets free. Wilson with the slap.
Basketball game, you get Caleb Wilson misses both free throws, and you don't come up with the basketball.
And now he forces a turnover. Luka Bogobats. Here is Wilson down low. And moves along the...
NC Central moved up to D1 in 2011.
Then they are 1 for 10. Here's Wilson. Facing up into Tillis. Leans in. And...
Oh, what a good cut by Trumbull.
Evans. Vessar. Turnaround Wilson. Top game with Bogobats, Dixon, and the inbounder Seth Trimble, who gets it to the freshman Derek Dixon. Dixon guarded tightly by Dallin Hall. Over to Caleb Wilson. Wilson, long steps off the back. Gets an assist off the backboard. His fourth. Uh-oh, he strips. Here comes the Thunder.
Offensively,
Carr too strong. Kohler with the backside board. The cut by Fort. It's loose to Wilson. Here comes Caleb Wilson. The freshman.
Trying to back down Besson. Woods out of the corner. Front rim miss. Here's Wilson on the run out. Through traffic.
The freshman. It's not one or two guys have to get back collectively.
Yeah.
And then peel off.
ISO.
He loves that drop step baseline.
There is turns and fires out.
More Garrett Sundra off the bench to replace Town. They're certainly undersized tonight and should be the rest of the year. Lost big man Kebajai to a knee injury for the season. Fast and loose hoops right now. Imes misses a three, knocked to Wilson. Wilson.
Got himself into trouble. Dixon took it away. Tar Heels on the run. Dixon still with it. Puts it for ECU. Protects the ball like it's a football. Can't get it to go. Tar Heels back the other way. Powell has numbers. Throws it up to the rim.
31% from three on the year.
Bonaventure shooting 38% from three. Wilson ran into Brahovic. Give it Wilson.